Ladies and gentlemen, over 3 years ago, 50 intelligence officials claimed that Hunter's laptop was a plot by another country to inform you of how corrupt Democrats are. So every time Democrats are caught with possible criminal activity, it's always a plot or some kind of effort by another country, an adversary, to make you vote for Trump because the truth about Democrats makes you vote for Trump. The truth has to be a ploy by an adversarial nation, because otherwise, why would anyone want to know the corruption within the Democratic Party? So, 50 intelligence officials lied through their teeth 3+ years ago, saying that a laptop that proved Joe Biden was lying. So, number one, he lied. I thought everyone cared about the truth. Apparently not when a Democrat lies, which is almost all the time. Notice how the tally of lies, the Washington Post stopped running that tally when a Democrat was in the Oval Office. But the emails on that laptop show categorically that not only did Joe speak to Hunter about business deals, but he was a part of the business deals, and very important part. He was the only reason these multi-million-dollar, possible billion-dollar deals took place. So the laptop that 50 intelligence officials lied about is real, genuine. The New York Post broke the story. Those people deserve Pulitzer Prizes. But there's almost certain criminal activity. So you have CNN. Speaker Johnson says he believes GOP has the votes for Biden impeachment inquiry. House vote to authorize Biden impeachment inquiry could begin as early as next week. Then you have the Washington Post, and you know when the Washington Post runs these headlines that there's something serious and that impeachment could actually take down the presidency. And it's interesting. They've gone from Watergate to trying desperately to prevent impeachment of a president who almost certainly committed serious crimes with Hunter. But hit subscribe to this channel right now. We're going to look at this article and some other articles in the New York Post, CBS News. To read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications, go to hagoodman.com. My Patreon is below. Super Thanks is below. Share this everywhere with people who don't think there's enough evidence. There is enough evidence to impeach, very likely to indict both Hunter and Joe. The problem with the Washington Post is that it's not only about the suspicious activity reports, the 150 reports that showed financial transactions in banks being investigated by the banks pertaining to Hunter and Joe. Not one financial transaction had any issue with a bank pertaining to Trump or anyone around Trump. Okay, they accused him of everything under the sun, but financial crimes. Okay, interestingly enough, Biden and everyone around him are linked to serious issues pertaining to finance. Because there's something called graft, bribery, and pay-to-play schemes. Here, at the end of this article, there's a Pinocchio test that the Washington Post themselves should take. James Comer, House Oversight Committee, stated there's 150 suspicious activity reports for banks. Serious issue, okay? In addition to, see, what Democrats will do, or what these publications will do, like the Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, The Atlantic, Rolling Stone, Vanity Fair, Esquire, what they'll do is they'll take one very bizarre, incriminating piece of information or evidence, and they'll say, well, that alone is not enough to indict or impeach Biden. That alone? Yes, of course, not alone. Trump had none of these things. Trump had a Steele dossier literally purchased by Clinton and the DNC, and I think Hillary Clinton will be the 24 nominee for the Democratic Party. But Literally, and they got fined by the FEC. It was full of lies, and it was treated as if it was enough to investigate Trump with the Mueller probe. Here you have 150 different financial transactions. And then the article says Comer may soon be insignificant. Okay, but he needs to get his facts straight. Even as many as 150 SARs were filed concerning Hunter's business dealings, a number that remains unconfirmed. It's always unconfirmed when it comes to. That does not mean he committed serious crimes. Yes, that's true. It doesn't mean he committed serious crimes. Along with everything else, that's very, very incriminating. That's the issue here. There's more incriminating evidence with Hunter and Joe than there ever was with Trump. And he's being indicted by Democratic prosecutors and officials in blue states or in cities run by Democrats that in many cases actually campaigned on locking up Trump, which is hilarious because they went after Trump for saying those words. But anyway, and then they worry about Trump going after his political rivals. His political rivals are going after him. Then those same people are worried that he'll go after them. But anyway, okay. That does not mean he committed serious crimes or that banks were pretty confident that a serious crime was committed. The banks, here's where they just mangle semantics. Instead, these reports merely tips that something may be suspicious. Raw intelligence that still need to be. Yeah, you couldn't get a loan to buy a house if even you had one SAR. Much less 150 SARs. And if 150 SARs doesn't make you think that something is very wrong, here you have emails. Hunter introducing businessmen to Joe. And then you have one email literally asking Hunter for advice on how you can use your influence on the company's behalf. That's not even taking into account the hundreds of millions of dollars in business deals and the time he flew on Air Force Two, the times he did, and the millions and millions he got from the wife of Moscow's mayor, former mayor, all these bizarre financial transactions where he's making millions upon millions in shell corporations, where Joe knew, mashed potato brains knew everything, because we have the laptop showing that he did. Or I don't, but the New York Post does. And so does Rudy Giuliani, and so does the Republicans in Congress. So here you have also an IRS, a person within the IRS. There's also a person within Central Intelligence stating they have the goods on Hunter. He was stopped from pursuing investigative leads into Dad or the big man. Joe is called the big man in emails. The emails link to major million-dollar, sometimes billion-dollar deals. And then you have what the Washington Post tried to completely disregard, 150 SARs. So you have a president who lied through his teeth, and our current president. You have everything you need to prove a case where pay-to-play, graft, bribery was there. People are giving business deals to Hunter because of Joe. Hunter he never built a business, or he never had the expertise in certain industries where these people around the world are giving him money. It's not rocket science. That's not a leap of logic. A leap of logic is to say that Trump performed a speech and therefore with his words compelled people to commit criminal acts. That's an absurd, stupid leap of logic. It's not a leap of logic to say that money was going into accounts of a family member of a vice president and future president, and emails literally stating, how can you use your influence on behalf of the company, point to 150 very suspicious banking transactions that lead to almost certain graft and bribery. That's not a leap of logic. It's pretty much right there. And if you don't believe that, there's that email literally asking, how can you use your influence, advice on how you can use your influence on the company's behalf. The number 3 executive of the oil and gas firm paying Hunter. Give me your thoughts below. And so if that's not enough evidence, I don't know what is. Hit subscribe to this channel. Impeachment will either be next week or within the next couple of months. Hit subscribe.